Your 401k statement is a carefully designed piece of fiction. I am not being dramatic. That number at the bottom, the one that makes you feel like you are doing something right, it is not your retirement number. It is your current balance, not adjusted for taxes, not adjusted for inflation, not adjusted for the fees you never see. And there is something else. Even if you have done everything by the book, contributed every year, taken the full employer match, never touched it, the math still has a hidden flaw built into it. A flaw most people do not discover until they are 64 and staring down at retirement that looks nothing like what they imagined. I am Marcus. Your 401k is not a retirement plan. It is a tax-deferred savings account with a retirement sticker slapped on the front. In the financial industry, your HR department, your brokerage, the government, they all have reasons for wanting you to miss that distinction. Not because anyone is evil, because it is profitable when you do not look too closely. I want you to hold a picture in your head. Imagine your house is on fire. Someone bolted a fire extinguisher to the wall near the front door. That extinguisher is real. It is certified. Under the right conditions, it absolutely works. But that extinguisher was designed for a small grease fire in the kitchen. It was never meant to stop a slow-burning structural fire that has been smoldering inside your walls for 20 years. Your 401k is that extinguisher. If you are counting on that single device to protect everything you own across 3 decades of retirement, you need to look at the label more carefully. In a few minutes, I will show you the scenario where doing everything exactly right, maxing out your contributions, grabbing every dollar of match, never touching the money, actually makes the problem worse. According to Vanguard's latest report, the average 401k balance in America right now is $134,000. The median is $35,000. Half of Americans with a 401k have less than $35,000 set aside for retirement. That is not a retirement number. That is a used sedan. But let us assume you are the one who has been grinding. You have been contributing for years. You take the match. You are putting away 10 or 15%. The contribution limit in 2025 is $23,500 per year. Add the most common employer match, 50 cents on the dollar up to 6% of salary. If you earn $100,000, your employer kicks in $3,000. Total annual, $26,500. Do this for 30 years. Start at 35, retire at 65. Market averages 7%. After 30 years, you end up with roughly $2.7 million. That $2.7 million is pre-tax. Every dollar you pull gets taxed as ordinary income. At a 22 to 24% federal bracket plus state taxes, you are losing somewhere between 26 and 30% of every withdrawal. Apply the 4% rule. 4% of $2.7 million is $108,000 per year before taxes. After a 26% effective rate, you are left with roughly $80,000 before healthcare, before the unexpected, before inflation. That is not a margin of safety. That is a margin of hope. Let me tell you about someone. Call him David. David is 66. He spent his career as a civil engineer. He took the maximum employer match every single year without fail. He never touched his 401k. He picked a target date fund, set it, and walked away. In 2023, David retired with $1.4 million. He had followed every piece of financial advice. David thought he had won. I'm going to come back to David. Here is the scenario where doing everything right makes the problem worse. It is called sequence of returns risk. When you are accumulating, the order of your annual returns does not really matter. A bad year at 38 gets smoothed out by decades of compounding. The moment you start withdrawing, the order of returns becomes everything. 2 retirees, both start with $1 million. Both withdraw $40,000 per year. Both average 6% over 20 years. Retiree A gets a 30% crash in year one. His portfolio drops to $700,000. He still withdraws $40,000. He is left with $660,000. That $660,000 cannot sustain 2 decades of withdrawals. He runs out of money. Retiree B gets that same crash in year 17. 16 years of compounding have grown his portfolio substantially. He survives. Same average return, same withdrawal, different order, totally different outcome. This does not show up in your HR packet. Look at the label on your extinguisher. This risk is not printed anywhere on it. By the way, if you are finding this useful, hit that subscribe button. YouTube's algorithm buries channels that do not get subscriber signals. It costs you nothing, takes 2 seconds, and drop a comment. Let me know what financial trap you have personally run into. Your story might help someone else. Now stay with me. When you retire with a large traditional 401k, let us use David's $1.4 million, you are not fully in control of your withdrawals. At 73, the IRS forces required minimum distributions, RMDs. Every year, you have to pull out a minimum amount whether you need it or not. Those RMDs inflate your income. As your income goes up, more of your Social Security becomes taxable, up to 85%. That raises your income further, and that can bump you into a higher Medicare premium bracket called IRMA. In 2024, a retired individual earning above $161,000 paid roughly $340 more per month in Medicare Part B premiums than someone earning below that threshold. Go $1 over, you pay significantly more. You saved diligently. You built a large 401k. Now the government is forcing withdrawals that raise your taxes and your healthcare costs. You did everything right, and the system's reward is a compounding tax problem you could not see at 40. Before the 1980s, the dominant retirement vehicle was the defined benefit pension. Your employer promised you a fixed monthly payment for life. The employer managed the investments. The employer absorbed the volatility. Then came Section 401, subsection K of the Revenue Act of 1978. Companies noticed a 401k is dramatically cheaper than a pension. No actuarial liability. Match a percentage, set up the platform, done. Your retirement risk is now your problem. Between 1980 and 2018, private sector workers covered by a pension dropped from 38% to roughly 15%. The 401k filled the gap the way masking tape fills a crack in a foundation. A factory worker in 1979 did not need to understand IRMAA cliffs. A 45-year-old today is the portfolio manager, the risk manager, the actuary. Ready or not, check the label on your extinguisher. The average expense ratio on actively managed funds is around 0.6 to 1%. Take $250,000 invested for 30 years at 7% with a 0.05% expense ratio. You end up with roughly $3.3 million. Add a 1% advisory fee. Net return 6%. You end up with roughly $2.5 million. The fee cost you $800,000. That number never appears on your statement. The system was not built around your interests. Let me make this concrete. Sarah is 45. She earns $120,000. She has $380,000 in her 401k. She contributes the full $23,500. Employer matches $5,000. She retires at 65. 20 years of contributions at 7% gives her roughly $2.7 million. 4% withdrawal, $108,000 gross. After taxes, roughly $77,700. Add Social Security, roughly $28,000, but up to 85% becomes taxable. Her total spendable income is around $100,000. She was earning $120,000. She is replacing about 83%. That is workable on paper, but it assumes the market cooperates in her first 5 years. It assumes no major health expenses. It assumes nothing unexpected happens for 30 years. Sarah has no secondary income stream, no dividend account, no rental. Her entire retirement rests on one vehicle, one extinguisher pointed at a very large building. This is where David comes back. David retired with $1.4 million and ran into two realities. First, his wife is 62, 4 years from Medicare. Her health plan cost them $900 per month, $10,800 per year, nearly $5,000 more than he planned. Second, 2025 turned volatile. David watched his balance drop from $1.4 million to $1.1 million. He moved cash, reduced travel, started withdrawing conservatively. He is not in crisis, but he is managing. And managing from one income stream means every unexpected expense is a direct threat. What should David have done? While accumulating inside his 401k, he could have been building income-producing assets in a taxable brokerage account. Alongside it, no contribution ceiling, no withdrawal penalty, no mandatory distributions. If that account had been generating even $1,500 per month in dividends by retirement, his math looks completely different. His 401k drawdown rate drops. His sequence risk is buffered. He does not need to move to cash when the market wobbles. 3 layers. Layer 1, your 401k. Max it. Take every dollar of match. Pick low-cost index funds. Keep expense ratios below 0.2%. Stop touching it. This is your foundation. It is not your plan. Layer 2, a taxable brokerage account with dividend-focused holdings. Set up an automatic monthly transfer, even $200. Invest in a diversified dividend ETF, VYM, SCHD, DGRO. Do not overthink it. Build an income stream with no ceiling and no government schedule. Layer 3, one income-producing asset from a completely different mechanism than stock market returns. A rental property, a business stake, a royalty, something not correlated to the S&P 500. This is the hardest layer to build, but if you are 35 or 45, you have the runway. The reason most people stay at layer 1 is psychology. The 401k is frictionless. Payroll deduction happens before you see the money. You set it up once, you forget it. That psychological ease is valuable, but it creates a false sense of completion. The second and third layers require active decisions. Active decisions feel harder, so people defer them indefinitely. Most financial mistakes are not math problems, they are brain problems. 3 actionable things. First, run the sequence of returns test on your own numbers. Apply a 30% drop in year 1. See how long your money lasts. If it is less than 25 years, you have a structural problem. You need a new layer. Second, check your 401k plan summary. Find your total expense ratio and your employer match capture rate. If you are paying above 0.25% on index funds, you are overpaying. If you are not capturing 100% of the match, you are leaving money on the table. Fix both. Third, open a taxable brokerage account this week, not next month, this week. Automate a monthly transfer. Pick one dividend ETF and do not change it for 5 years. And before you go, if this video hit home, hit that like button. It helps more people find this content. And drop a comment. Tell me one thing you are doing differently after watching this. Accountability matters. David's story does not have a bad ending. He is going to be okay. But okay is not what he planned. Okay is not what 40 years of discipline was supposed to deliver. He trusted one extinguisher to protect everything. The extinguisher worked exactly as labeled. He just had never read the label carefully enough to notice what it was not designed to do. I am Marcus. Go read the label.